it's a pleasure to meet you and chat with you a little bit about your career and what you've been doing as an actress and producer and director.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
When did you first get the acting bug? Was it when you were a little kid?
I was 15 years old and I went to Van Nuys High School, which is a performing arts magnet, but it's a public school. And I sat and I watched a play, I think it was Bye Bye Birdie. And I looked on stage and these incredible actors who were 18 years old, that to me, they were like adults, but they were so amazing. I mean, it was really when I was 15, we had some really talented seniors. And I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. And I started I'm trying to get into plays. And when I wasn't able to book parts on plays, I would work backstage as the prop mistress or the stage manager.
It's a very interesting business because we both know that, you know, this business that we're in, you know, you have to apprentice. Even if you go to college and walk out with a ton of degrees, you still have to start, you know, sweeping the set and learning the craft from people who are willing to teach it to you.
Absolutely. And God knows, when I went to UCLA, a biological anthropology major, thinking I'm going to go to medical school to make my dad happy. Also, at that time, I'd never seen any representations of me, so I didn't even think that acting for the film or television was even a possibility. An Iranian theater company hired me right when I graduated. My dad had passed away. So I toured the globe doing plays in Persian. I thought, wow, this is amazing. But I knew that even though people are saying, oh, you're so good, you're so natural, I knew that I didn't have it. So I went to a school of theater called the Ruskin School of Theater. So it was an acting school. And one day, Anthony Hopkins came to one of our classes and he fell in love with us. And he said, I'm going to come and teach you. So he taught our master class for about 8 months, almost a year. And but since graduating, even though I've been doing plays with Persian plays, you know, for Iranian audiences, I'm always in acting workshops, in and out of acting workshops, because it's so important to hone the skills and to stay current with it. It's like an Olympic sport.
It truly is.
You know, you can't, yeah.
Yeah. Do you still have an affinity? Do you still love performing in front of live audiences?
Absolutely. It's so different. I am humbled by how difficult it is to act in front of a camera. Every day I'm learning something new, but acting on stage gives the actor an agency that doesn't exist in front of the camera, because when you're on stage, you are in charge. There's no one editing and, you know, lighting it the way, you know, filming you the way they want to, and, you know, editing it the way they want to. It's, you're in charge, and there's a connection with the audience that is mystifying.
Yeah, and I always ask the question, you know, when it comes to film and television, you know, your costume, the set, does that inform your character? But in live theater, everything informs your character, because it's the rhythm of the play that night.
Even the audience informs your character that night. You're so right. You're so right. I did in Persian, I did the last play I did was Dario Fo's Open Couple that we did in Farsi for Iranian audiences and diasporas we are. And I remember 2 nights. One night the audience was so into it and my character became different than the next night when they were so scandalous. They were so my character got a little bit, you know, I had to not give as much. So yeah.
What was the first gig you did as a television or movie actress?
The first gig as a television or movie actress, I think the first main gig I did was Little America. It's another Apple TV show, and it's an anthology series. And I played so the man who plays my husband in Tehran also played my husband in Tehran. on that show. We're in episode 7 called The Rock.
Wow.
And
is that where you earned your
so
SAG
Apple
card?
TV. No, oh no, you're right. The very first time, this is when I earned my SAG card, was on Charlie Wilson's War.
Oh, wow.
And Mike Nichols directed that. I recently read his biography. Oh, I am just so love that man. And Mike Nichols told me that I'm a very good actor.
Wow.
But I had a small part.
That's why we're here, because you are a very good actress.
Yeah, thank you.
Back in those days, there was certainly a lot of discrimination against lead roles for, people who weren't, blonde and fair skinned. Did you run into a lot of that in auditions?
Not in auditions. I just never got auditions. So I ran into it by not working at all. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that things are slowly turning in a way, that it feels like the executives are realizing that, the audiences are multi-dimensional and multi-nationality, and they're huge audiences. And I'm especially grateful to be working on 2 shows with Apple TV now because of the fact that Apple TV crosses continents. It's so wonderful to have a global audience. As a theater actor, there have been times where there were 2 people in the audience, so I know how much that sucks. So
yeah, certainly Teheran is an extremely well-written and meticulously done show. And now that they've added Glenn Close to it, I mean, I think everything is just buoyed up by working with such a wonderfully gifted actress.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why she is referred to as an icon. She's really special.
And Neve does such a great job in the series as well.
Neve is just loveliness incarnate. She's such a lovely human being in person.
Are you good friends with everybody? I mean, is it like a family? I know you're working on 2 shows at the same time, but it must be wonderful to be surrounded by not only the cast, but the crew.
They're all family. And so because they have such a family, close-knit family feel, the whole cast feels like family. But it's also so wonderful to see so many wonderful Iranian young actors that are incredibly talented. And like myself, they are in exile because they can't do what they do in their own country.
This portion of Screen Chatter is presented by VP Dental. Check out our great dental plans starting at just $16 per month. Tell me a little bit about the other show that you're doing for Apple.
The other show, Little America.
Yeah, Little America.
So yeah, Sean and I, it's an anthology series about immigrants that move to the States. But it's so lovely. They're all based on true stories, by the way. They were these stories that were articles written in Epic magazine. And so they took these articles and turned them into, each article is like a half-hour short film. And they're all success stories, and they're all totally positive and a little funny. The majority of them are a little comedic, true stories. And it felt so amazing. I think we shot them in 2019, but it felt so amazing to be, during a time when immigrants were getting a bad rap in the US, to have a show, thanks to Apple, that is just shedding a beautiful, sweet light on immigrants was really lovely.
We touched on this a little bit before, but are you good at auditioning? Do you feel, that's a strong point?
No, I'm not good at auditioning. And that's why, for me, I know a lot of actors don't feel this way, but I'm so grateful that we get to tape auditions so much these days, because it used to be a nightmare for me to walk into a casting director's office and be so nervous. And then you get like one take and then another take and goodbye. Sometimes with these auditions, it takes me millions of takes.
Mhm. Nice. And they never get to see those
do
other
what I
things.
meant. And they
It's
never
always
get
a
to see,
perfect take.
thankfully.
Tell me a little about the other job you have, which is voice work. I know that you do a
Yes.
lot, and you've got that beautiful, sultry voice.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
that fun for you?
I love voice work. I absolutely love voiceover because you get to express yourself in ways. Like there was this one voiceover animation I did where I played 8 different male characters. I mean, you never get to do that if you're lucky, very lucky, you might be able to play one man in your lifetime as a female actress. But to play 8 different characters on one show is amazing, and you get to play with the voice. I love it.
I love voice work because I'm from a family of voice actors, and and I know that it's a muscle that a lot of actors don't get to stretch because you have to use that 8-year-old kid inside of you to imagine what's going on. You're not with the other actors, you're usually bouncing off, and so it's kind of you and your imagination, and then you have to underline everything with your voice to because you're not using your body. So it's a difficult thing to kind of get to know, but once you master it, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's especially difficult when it's a comedy. So you're just imagining and to know exactly what word to hit and what word to stress and what words to throw away to make the comedy come out. It's really exciting.
Do you use music in preparation for the characters that you play?
I don't use music. Not music, but I do a lot of research. And I do a lot of crafting the character I have a friend of mine that I am so blessed to get a chance to work with. His name is Hitoshi Inoue, and we've made films together throughout the years. So because he's a filmmaker himself, he loves crafting characters. So it's really fun to have someone to craft characters with.
I'm kind of curious about that because developing a character, for a series is different than for a film. I mean, because there's an arc that is ongoing in a series. And so as you find out more about your character through the writing, that changes your character in the way that you present her.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why Hitoshi and I crafted the character of Nahi together for Teheran. And even before season 1, what we had crafted was, she's a general's wife. She was very, I don't want to say 2 or 3 dimensional, but she was very strong. She was very powerful and intelligent. And suddenly in season 2, because of things that happened to her in season 1, suddenly she's got psychosis to deal with and agoraphobia and PTSD. And then so that brought out different colors of that child, that frightened child within her that we never would have seen when we saw how powerful she was trying to keep things together in season 1.
Yeah, and I love the way that you approach that because it's certainly not over the top. You're not doing a caricature of somebody with those psychosis. You've studied it, and it's a very subtle kind of, we know about it, but the way that you do it is spot on.
Thank you so much. I really, that warms my heart. And it was it's amazing the amount of research that's available on YouTube. It's so easy to research. So Hitoshi helped me to get like about 20, 30 different interviews of people who were going through agoraphobia, like actual people talking to an interviewer very close to the camera, so you could see what happens to their eyes, what happens to their voice, how they hold themselves physically. So yeah, and thank you again.
Yeah, and noise is such a trigger for for it. I mean, I know people that suffer from both claustrophobia and agoraphobia, and it's just it can be just what can I say? I mean, it can be just heartbreaking to watch people try to do something and then can't.
Yeah. Although I tell you, that's how I experience every single character that I work on. I experienced that heartbreak. Like I have to go through it and do it very badly and very badly and very badly until finally I can.
As a single mom, I want to make sure my kids have healthy teeth. Going to the dentist can be expensive. Just a simple cleaning can cost over $100. Then I found TDA, and for about $1 a day, Total Dental Administrators covers my family on over 200 dental procedures. Whether you're an individual, a family, self-employed, or retired, your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these policies. Call or click for your free information kit and see how affordable dental health can be.
My dream was always to do a stage production with two of my best friends. These are my two best girlfriends. One of them, Mariam Sayad, is a mythology professor. She's got a PhD in mythology. She's amazing. The other one is a therapist. So I always wanted to do some stage production combining mythology and psychology so that it could be cathartic for people. And that dream came true. The Department of Mental Health commissioned a play that my girlfriend Mariam, the therapist, had written. And so we were going to do it, except COVID happened. And the department said, what do you want to do? You can't do a play. You want to do a Zoom play read? And I said, no, we could turn this into a feature film. I thought Hitoshi and I, he's so brilliant with everything film related. They said the only way you could turn it into a film is if none of the actors are ever in the same house together, because this was through the thick of COVID. And you can't even be in the same room with them directing them. Can you do that? I said, sure. I turned our living room into a green screen studio. And from the dining room, I would talk to the actors and give them eye lines and read the lines with them. Each actor came in individually on a different day. Hitoshi stitched it all together to make it look like there's 4 actors in a room together. If you watch this film, it's called Wake Up, Sleeping Beauty. You'd never believe that these actors have never met each other in person. And it's a combination of mythology. The mythology of Sleeping Beauty is a major lesson teacher in mythology and psychology. So it's about, you know, those parts of ourselves that we ignore, that we don't invite to the party, turn into monsters, and they wreak havoc on our lives and on the lives of those we love, and all the lies we tell ourselves and each other. And it is in Persian with English subtitles, and it is, you know, dealing with an Iranian American, a woman dealing with the psychoses that we get from being Iranian American. But it's very universal, and we're offering it for people to watch for free. And we feel it's very cathartic. We've had a lot of, it's won at many festivals. I won Best Director.
Wow.
Which is something I'm never going to do again. Thank you.
Never say never.
You're right. I shouldn't say never, but it was the most difficult thing I've ever done.
Do you like roles that involve physical activity? I mean, are you athletic in some of the things that you do?
I love riding motorcycles. I'm learning to do that. Athletic. Yeah, I love the stage because you get to be so physical, but nothing like, you know. But yeah, it's tough for me, the physicality on film of just always toning it down is a challenge.
Do you think you'll be stepping back onto a live stage soon?
It is my dream to do that. I really hope to be able to work enough to be able to take some time off from film and TV and do some stage.
Because I know a lot of actors and actresses that need to go back and get that audience, you know, connection and feel the grease paint, so to speak. You know, it's like a drug.
It's like a drug, and I tell you, even as an actor, I find myself acting for the crew because I can't act for the camera, obviously. So I'm a lot of times acting for the crew or whoever's, you know, sitting behind Video Village. You know, I need to be doing it for, even though. Yeah, I need to be doing it for someone.
When you're not the biggest international star in the world, what do you do for hobbies and fun? Do you go bike riding? Do you paint? Do you cook?
Thank you. Yes, I own a chicken. I used to have several chickens, but now we only have Miss Tara. She's 13 years old. I've got a garden, so I'm almost a homesteader. We get most of our food every day from the garden
Nice.
that I grow. We do steamed vegetables over rice a lot. And my chicken, I take care of my mom's dog, who's a little Yorkie, who's a bossy pants. My mom passed away in 2018, so that's a joy. I love to go to the desert, to Joshua Tree and Pioneer Town.
You're fine.
Yucca Valley. Yeah,
I
thank
love
you.
Yucca Valley. There's a place in Yucca Valley called Giant Rock. And
Oh yeah.
where that German guy hid during World War II. It was like a little bunker under the big rock.
Oh, I have heard of that. I haven't been there. I was just in Yucca Valley last weekend.
We got to be better stewards of
We do have to be better stewards of this, of this earth. It was such a pleasure to talk to you, and do come. Maybe we'll go to Pappy and Harriet's when you come to town. We'll go to Yucca Valley together.
Perfect. And it's like I said, we've been trying to get in touch with you for a while, but our schedules didn't jive, and this was a perfect day.
Yeah, it really was perfect for me. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.